Hey, all, looking beautiful for you here this morning. I just got up. I realized I hadn't done a video in a really long time, so gosh, my nose is so runny. You know what? I heard that happens after surgery for a lot of people. Their noses run all the time. So weird. But anyways, back to the point. I haven't done a video in a long time, so I thought I'd just do like a quick check-in. So, like a month ago, I've had a couple stalls. So if you're haven't had surgery yet or you're just had it, because I'm about a little over 12 and a half weeks in, stalls can happen to people a lot. Not, some people just get them a couple times during their process. I've had a few of them. And one was like where I didn't lose anything for like a week. I even gained a pound one day, 1 or 2 days actually. I'm trying to remember, but I've had a few stalls where I just barely move. If I'm lucky enough, I'll lose a couple ounces in a few days or whatever. So that was really, really frustrating, and I got really down. And the reason I tell you this is because you're going to read all over online how normal it is. It happens to everybody. Well, screw that. It doesn't make you feel any better, so whatever. But this last week, it's like I can't not lose. I just keep losing. I've lost almost 8 pounds in a week. So that's really, it's just weird. I keep expecting to get on the scale and be like, okay, it's probably not moved today. I've just been so lucky. Everything's been happening so fast. Or I'm going to get on the scale. I'm going to probably put on a few ounces or whatever. And I lose at least like a pound a day, it seems like. And I'm not doing anything different except, and this is not like I'm giving advice, but I really haven't been exercising at all. And that sounds terrible. I haven't been going to the gym at all. And possibly when I was going to the gym, I wasn't eating enough. And so my body was just not having it. So I do need to get back into exercising and just eating a little bit more, but I've also been eating a little bit more. So my doctor says he wants me at about 600 calories until I'm done losing my weight. And I've been like mid 600s to pushing 7. I don't think I've quite reached 7. And that's really when I started dropping the weight more. I've been eating, so I think I needed more calories for some reason. I don't think my body was liking the small amount of calories I was having. So this is a huge thing for me to say, because I know people I know are going to see this, and it's humiliating. But when I had my surgery, I was 291 pounds, the most I've ever weighed in my entire life. And it's so funny because I remember watching My 600-Pound Life with my daughter and her saying something like, how do people let themselves get like that? And part of me was like, yeah, how do they? But then another part of me was like, well, I said I'd never get to 175. I said I'd never get to pushing 200. I said I'd never get to 220. I said I'd never get to 230. I said, and so on and so on. And there I was pushing 300 pounds. Ew. Like, what the hell was I doing to myself? But it happens. So I tell you this to tell you that I'm now down to like 235, and the thought that I am going to be, so I'm down like over 55 pounds in about 12 weeks. And I tell you this because I was thinking this morning about how I'm almost in my 220s, and yeah, that's still way overweight, but that almost brings tears to my eyes. Like, I feel like I'm getting more to be somewhat normal again, I could probably go to Magic Mountain right now and get on rides, and that sounds so stupid, but I cannot wait. Alex, my daughter who had the surgery, she texted me yesterday at work, and she said, I'm crying tears of joy. She goes, because in 17 more pounds, I'm going to be under 200 pounds again. And it's been years for her too. She started, at a lower weight than me, about 25 pounds, I think. Maybe even, I don't know. Anyways, she's lost about 35 pounds in about 8 weeks. So I'm just so excited for her. And another thing I want to say is, if you're thinking about the surgery, or if you've had it, screw anybody that tells you that this is the easy way out. This is the last thing I ever wanted to do. I and you have given up things for the rest of our lives, things that we love. And there are days where that really weighs on me. I love food. I'm hoping to go on a cruise next year, or we are going on a cruise next June. And I mean, isn't that what everybody does? They eat their way through the cruise. And so my daughter and I, we've really had to sit and have talks about that. Like, we're going to have to learn how to have fun other ways, And I told her, I said, the positive thing is if I can eat whatever I want on a cruise, if I didn't have the surgery, I would probably go and eat all day long, and then I would feel miserable because I'd have an upset stomach the whole freaking cruise. So, you know, there's benefits to this. It's just a whole mind shift, figuring out new ways. And another problem I've always had is shopping and spending money. I love that. So I'm struggling with that a little bit because you find other things to make you happy. And so I'm really having to like make myself hold back on those things, you know? So I don't know. It's the whole mind shift part is really tough. And there are some days where it's just easy. Like I do get up now and the first thing I do out of habit is I just get my water, and the day before I plan my whole next day's worth of food. And so my lunch is already packed for work, and I don't plan as well on weekends, but I try to plan ahead. And for the most part, that feels normal. I don't get up thinking about food 24/7 like I did before, but there are some days where it's really hard. I walked by a potluck at work yesterday and they were offering me all this food, and of course they had tiramisu there, and my favorite. But I don't know. I haven't fully made that shift yet, and I don't know if you ever do. You just learn to control it. And one thing the surgery gives you is that tool of like, if I do eat that, I'll probably puke, so I won't do it. I don't know. It's just, it's getting easier. So if you're early on or you haven't had the surgery yet, it gets easier. And you're going to have stalls, and you're going to want to throw the scale across the room, and it's okay. That's normal to feel that way, and it will come off. And I'm not stupid enough to think that all this weight that's been dropping off this last week or so isn't going to slow down again or stop at some point. And it's going to piss me off again, but it is what it is. I do my measurements. I'm not really good about doing all my measurements. I only do my hips and waist. I don't know. I feel like measuring your arms and legs is weird, because how do you know you're getting in the exact same spot every time and things like that? I should have been doing my breasts or my chest, because I'm sure those are nothing anymore. But between my hips and my waist, I'm down over 14 inches, I think. So that's cool. I'm definitely noticing it in my clothing and things like that. I mean, obviously 55 pounds is a lot of weight. I got a long way to go still, but it's happening. And I got this. Well, at least today I feel like I do. Anyways, I'll check in hopefully, month or so, and let you know how things are going. Take care.